Well, hello there. Good morning, you beautiful, beautiful people. It's Monday. Monday. And for some, Monday is not the best day. It's the day when they go back to work or the routine starts and all that. So let's take a few minutes to forget about that as we deep dive into the meat and potatoes once again. And I'm going to prepare you because this is going to be a bit of a rant. And for that, I don't apologise. See what I did there? Because I don't apologise. Why should I apologise? I'm being honest, I'm being open, I'm being real, which is sadly something that you don't see too often on certain platforms. And what I will just say is look, channels are not justified by their numbers. And what I mean is by that, just because a channel has a larger subscriber base, it doesn't mean that they're more honest or more trustworthy, because ultimately you can have a channel that has 10, 15 subscribers, 20 subscribers who are salt of the earth people, who are true, they are honest, they are just amazing people. And then you can have a channel that is made up of hundreds of thousands of subscribers who are fucking mental. But look, I'm going to say this. I find it very hard, and this is going to be a room splitter. So I do apologise for this because this bit is going to split the room. And it's not directed at anyone in particular, but a certain way a certain person has been acting recently has kind of angered me. And it's made me question the sincerity of them as a person. But you see it a lot. You see it many, many people in a similar situation. And
What are you talking about, Harsh? What are you talking about? Spit it out. Come on.
I hear you. Let's get on with it. So look, if someone claims that they are religious, they are a believer in God. They are a God-fearing man or a God-fearing woman. They have the Bible beside them at night. They read it. They know passages and they can quote them like Shakespeare. But then, in a situation like this, they're very, very clearly trying to push a narrative before fact. In the Idaho 4 case, trying to support and crucify an individual who, in the eyes of the law, has not even been found guilty of the crimes put forward. I find that a little bit ungodlike. And I feel then that someone's hiding behind a facade of religious belief to try to garner the support of those in that area and make them appear more trustworthy, more believable, more honest. Like, I get it when people say we should pray for Bethany Funk, we should pray for Dylan Mortensen. And I get that, and I actually do believe that if you believe in that, then yes, they do need to be prayed for. Because it is a potential that they are going to be put through a bit of a situation that not many people would want to go through unless they are psychopathic. It's pretty much a given that they did go through a situation with what happened at 1122 King Road as well. It's questionable regarding what truly happened. Obviously, Bethany, as far as we're aware, slept through it all, didn't know anything. But I can't imagine what that would be like in the event that you wake up from your slumber to find that pretty much everyone in your home has been murdered and it could have been you. I get that. I'm going to come back to the other side, the flip side of that coin later on, but let's just let that simmer for a second. how do you think that would make someone feel? What would you do? How would you feel if you woke up and found everyone around you slain while you sleep? And then we have Dylan Mortensen, bless her. She's been put in a very, very awkward situation where we're going to have two sides of the fence. And that is those that do see her as a survivor. Someone who, like we've just spoken about Bethany, who was completely unaware of what was going on and then found that pretty much everyone in the house had been slain, but she was okay. But I'm going to come to the flip side of that coin later on in the video. But from a religious perspective, I get asking for prayer. I get asking for strength and guidance. And it makes me reminisce about my own mum and her affiliation with the church. She was quite a religious person, especially as she was ill. She sought solace in that. And she had a glass plaque with the Footsteps poem, where it was about God someone had questioned God with regards to footprints in the sand, that God's footprints were always there beside him, apart from at the most difficult times of his life, when there would only be one set of footsteps appearing in the sand. To which God's response was, I didn't leave you, it was then that I carried you. So look, I can understand all of this. But why does Bryan not deserve prayers too? Why would someone who is truly religious, a true believer, not feel that Bryan Kohberger deserves some solace, some support, some guidance, some love, some prayer? Unless you are just pushing a narrative unproven that he did this crime. And not only did he do it, but he is unworthy and should not be considered in prayers. So you're totally removing the fact that even if he is our guy, if he is the person who did it, which, look, he could be. I've always said he could be. I'm not going balls deep in he's guilty or he's innocent. I'm not. Because I believe in due process. And I want it to work and that to find the outcome. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But don't say that you're religious and you're a God-loving individual, but then have actions that go completely against what it would mean to be a true religious believer. But anyway, moving on from the Room Splitter, I'd watched the film Shooter. Some of you may have seen it, and I've just started watching the series that is produced by Mark Wahlberg, who played Bob Lee Swagger in the original. And for those of you who don't know about this, it's about a sniper who was framed for trying to kill the President of the United States. He didn't. But in the series, there's a meeting right at the beginning I believe it's in the first episode. And it's between Bob Lee Swagger and his attorney. And the attorney says, for a man who had spent his entire life learning to be invisible, you didn't just leave crumbs, you left the whole damn cake. And I know some of you are very, very quick to say, you can be street smart, you can be book smart, you can be street stupid and book smart and all this, and I get it, and yes, you can. But what I find in the Idaho 4 case is that people will look at things that are said in a negative sense about Bryan Kohberger. They will latch onto it. They will pull it apart. They will push it in everybody's face. Like, you've got News Nation, like this here. I'll show you. I'm not going to go through it, but just to prove a point. And it is this here. FBI, Kohberger's pattern of sexism could prove a motive. And you go through all mainstream media, and it's painting the same kind of picture of this monster who was just a horrible narcissist, nasty to women. And I'm going to touch on that in this video as well. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video today. I do apologise for the length of the video, but bear with me, because I think all of the points made are valid. And look, Bryan, when there's something good said or something factual, unlike where people latch onto the bad and they use that to bolster their opinions of negativity, seldom do you see people latch onto the good comments, the things that are said that are good. And in all honesty, when you hear of the bad comments, like how he was sexist, like, I go now and tell me where those remarks came from. Go tell me where, in the comments below, with regards to Bryan Kohberger being sexist, Bryan Kohberger stalking females, harassing females, I want you to put down below where the source of that information came from. Who said that? Because I'm going to put it to you now. And again, this is going to split the room a bit, and I apologise. And some of you will hate this, and some of you will understand where I'm coming from. Being sexist doesn't make you a killer. Being a certain way doesn't make you sexist. Challenging individual ideologies and other people's perhaps jaded perspectives of what they are worth and what they should be given and not given does not make a killer. And what I mean by that, if you're a doorman, if you're a female as well, if you're a doorman or have worked on the doors, and if you're a female, you'll understand this. Now, guys would go into a club, and if that club had a strict ID policy, you would have to get into that club by showing your identification. I've been turned down from many clubs that had an 18-year-old policy, so you've got to be 18 to come in here, and I'd be in my 20s and turned down because I didn't have ID. And then you would see that this place would regularly have 16 and 17-year-old girls in there who had got in without ID. Women and girls can be master manipulators. They can, and don't get me wrong, so can men. So can men. But would it not be fair to assume that Bryan Kohberger, his sexism could have been mistaken for his reluctance and his shutting down of just accepting that someone's work is good or their behaviour is good or what they think of themselves is wrong, because he could not be swayed away from his professionalism just because of boobs and blonde hair? That doesn't make him sexist, but it could do in the eyes of some people. And look, I could be wrong. He could just be a sexist, narcissistic motherfucker. And look, everything's possible. But what I'm trying to say here is there is sometimes two sides to the story. And I'm pretty sure that when I ask people for the source of this sexism and all this information, where did it come from? The vast majority of you are going to say News Nation. You won't even be able to tell me where they got it from. And in fact, the very few people who have come out and spoke about Bryan Kohberger, they don't paint the picture of a killer. And there was a professor who had worked with him who said that this guy was one of the best students she had. She had the best students she had. One of only 3 students that she had put forward for a PhD. And that he always remained professional with her. But lo and behold, you're tangled up in the Idaho 4 case, and all of a sudden, he's a sexist, narcissistic maniac. And again, he could be. But is there another side to the story? And I said that I would touch on the flip sides of coins. And with that, I'm talking about Dylan Mortensen. And yes, she deserves to have prayer. Because it could be that she has been involved in something and been coerced into something that she didn't want to. Was she caught up in law enforcement and a college's need for closure, and quickly? And was she utilised to get them there? And could that be pulled down around her? The 8 hours delay in calling 911. I do not give a flying fuck what any single one of you say. That 8-hour delay is unjustifiable. Unjustifiable. And in many, many, many different situations with different players, that would not have been accepted. And with Bethany, can I fully believe that Bethany was asleep all the way through absolutely everything that happened? Absolutely everything. Didn't hear, didn't see, and was just not involved. But yet, again, and this is just speculation based on information that is out there, that one of the first calls that she made was to her mum. Legal counsel was then sought and acquired, and she has remained deathly silent throughout. Not supporting the other survivor, not releasing any statements whatsoever, not saying anything, remaining absolutely tight-lipped. Again, that could have been just a very, very smart move. She could have woke up, seen what happened, and genuinely slept through it. But legal guidance could have turned around and said, look, if this goes sideways, you could be in the shit. So the best thing you can do is keep your fucking mouth shut. Don't say a damn thing. Plead the fifth. I get it, and that is a very high probability. But there is a different side to that, and that is that she just weren't there. She weren't there. She never was there. Was Dylan even there? We don't know. Would we ever know? Who knows? There's a long way to go and a long road before we get closure. But with regards to this latest situation with Bethany being pulled forward, I see so many people feeling that it is wrong and she shouldn't be pulled forward, so on and so forth. But I put it to you now, Bryan Kohberger, as it stands at the moment, he is an innocent man. It might be that in your minds, he's not. You may have had him pegged and said he's the one who done it. I would challenge you to say, okay, what is the specific element of this case that leads you to believe that he did it beyond reasonable doubt? Be interesting to see where the source of that specific element came from that gave you that conclusion. But he is innocent until proven guilty. And trials should not be concluded based on the thoughts of the heinous act. They should be trialled on facts, and those facts should be beyond a reasonable doubt. And again, I know this has been a longer video than normal, so for that I do apologise. But if you've got any questions down below on my personal thoughts and feelings on any element of this case, please do let me know down below. But my stance is innocent until proven guilty. And there are many, many elements of this situation, this story, that does not make sense, does not add up. Corruption does exist. It does happen. And I believe that there are certain elements of this case that have been manufactured for the sake of a result that would benefit the college and law enforcement and the area and its financial standing. And that is purely my opinion. I'll catch you all in the next one.
What's up, Harsh fam? We just launched our new nonprofit organization, United Search Corps, where we're going to be advocating for the missing and families of the missing as well. And we need your help to spread awareness for our mission and also our fundraiser. There's a lot of equipment and necessary things that we need for this to be possible. So please take a second and share our fundraiser. For more information, please check out our website, unitedsearchcorps.org. Go over to my YouTube channel and check out our announcement video as well. The links will be in the description below. Thank each and every one of you for your time and consideration. Thank you.